what would happen to my son. Was he going to afford college? Was the rent going to get paid if I died? And those are things we don't think about. But I get calls from my friends that are social workers saying, we have Kenyan children that need to be adopted because their parents died and they left nothing, and those children have been put in the system because nobody wants to take those children. Kenyan children that have been given up to adoption, foster care, and yet this company has a policy that is $100 or less. That 3 things: if death, accident, and illness happened in your home, they would send you a check. That's my story. I'm going to tell you a story about one of our agents. He, of course, as an agent, he had a very big policy, and he got stage 4 cancer. I don't know if it was stage 3 or stage 4. And he was also told that he was going to die, but he activated his claim and got a very big payout. And all the doctors would sit in a panel because his claim could afford him a panel of doctors. Notice the person who gets a terminal illness with no insurance and the person who gets a terminal illness with life insurance. And life insurance nowadays covers death, accident, and illness. He got a panel of doctors and he sought a second, third, and 4th opinion. And the 4th opinion, the doctor told him, do not go for chemotherapy. I have an alternative. He's still with us today. He didn't die. So what are we saying? Money is not a bad thing, right? But our people, when misfortune hits our homes, not only are we reduced to something physically, financially, we are left without even money for a funeral. So if that home doesn't have money for a funeral, can you imagine the state the children are being left in that are in that home? And we have done fundraisings here for illness. We have done fundraising for widows, widowers, right? Whenever you are left behind, not only have you lost a spouse, you have lost support. So if you're a man and your wife doesn't come home, are you going to babysit those children or are you going to clock in? Financially, what happens to that home? So the cost of life insurance is less than 100 for most people, which we send people at home. And that's why people of color, and I know we are Africans, but we are still classified as people of color, why 58% of us are likely to leave debt. And the statistics was people that make 150,000. 58% of them are likely to leave debt when they die. Mortgage is a debt. If it's not fully paid, if you have a mortgage and it's not fully paid and you died, look, will he pay the mortgage? No. Our children cannot pay those homes. They are going to be foreclosed, right? So in California, we have a Kenyan family that lost both parents. And that money that we had to fundraise as the whole Kenyan community in the US. That money was held by the court. There was no will. That's the other thing. We tell people, write a will, a trust, something, so that money doesn't have to go to court before your children get it 1 year later after the whole probation process. And I'm not even sure I want to go through that, but there's the page that has the statistics of illnesses. Just one page I'll show. My eyesight. Okay. I'm like you, Pastor. All right. 113 million go back. Do you see 100 total that National Life Group paid for living benefits? 113 million was paid out in claims last year. That should tell you those were people that had an accident or an illness. When we say living benefits, is people that were paid while they were still alive. 113 million was paid out. Go to the next page. The one before that. After, scroll down. The one that shows statistics of that one. A stroke occurs every 40 seconds in the US. A stroke occurs every 40 seconds in the US. The next one says 6 to 10 Americans live with a what? Who can read? One chronic disease. Now, diabetes. I don't know if diabetes is chronic, but it degenerates into kidney failure as you grow older, right? What happens at that point to you financially, right? What is the third one? My goodness. 39% of men and women develop cancer. Now, 39%, and we are all believers. Am I exempt just because I'm a believer? Am I exempt from cancer because I'm a believer? So if that happened financially, where does that leave? Which is the last one? 66% of bankruptcies are caused by medical expenses. What is the point of working for 20 years to build wealth and then lose that wealth to an illness that you suffer for 5 years? That's what happens. Life insurance is protecting your money in the bank. It's protecting you from not selling your home when you get sick, because now we have run out of savings. Now we have gone into credit cards. Now we have sold the shamba in Kenya because we need to go to India for a second or third opinion. But do we have $100 or $200 for life insurance? We have $100 for the person in Kenya. Quickly here, I would get $100 very fast, right? They are in Kenya and they are calling you when they are eating nyama and you pay the bill, right? But do you have $100 on yourself? Should you get something terminal that we shall send you a check of 300,000 or a check of $500,000? I would do this job even if it didn't pay me, so that if somebody got sick or somebody died in church, I know that $500,000 is going to that home, even if it's just 100,000. And all they were paying was $30 for that plan. But something happened, and I know that I will send 100,000 to that home. Even if we formed a WhatsApp group, it is not what they were depending on. Because even if we form a WhatsApp group, we shall bury that person. But are their children still going to eat? We have people in Kenya fundraising for a body here to be repatriated back home. Ta imagine ya doa nyuma go ikeire fundraising magikurehe bathi America. But when you die, they have to fundraise for you. And it's happening in our community a lot. So we shall be at the door. Please leave your name and number if you want information. We shall show you a few illustrations and the cost. I have my team here, Geoffrey, Jane. I don't know if Mary is here. Mary, just stand up so that they can see you. We shall be at the door. If you want to just see cost, if all you have is 100, 250, children, please cover your children. Parents, cover your children before they get a diagnosis that disqualifies them, right? As soon as they are born, before they have autism and all those conditions that makes them get declined. I'm trying to get to a point where we shall be a generation like the people we found here, where they die and leave wealth. Well, we die and leave debt and bills, right? They die and leave wealth. And if we can start with our children, put $50 on each of your children. 50, 100, whatever you can afford. So that as we go as a generation, we are building wealth, and misfortunes don't reduce us to nothing. All right? Okay. I'm looking for somebody and I don't see her. She was supposed to say something, but it is well. I didn't want to take much time. But if you want to speak to us, please put my number. There's a slide that has my number in case you're in a rush. I don't know, you can take a picture or save my number, and that's my office. Is my office address there? Yes. Please take a picture if you want to come see us at the office, or if you want to give me a call. But we shall be out there with the team at the door. We'll answer all your questions. Come see us. There is no obligation. Kuona tu inakaaje hii. And it's covering 3 things: death, accident, and illness. And those are the things that are reducing our community to bankruptcy. All right? Thank you very much.
Okay, just one question. So if you're 40 years old and you have 3 kids, how much does the policy cost, the one that's kind of more basic, let's say, for example?
So let me start with those ones seated there. Those ones, I know their age. They can be covered for $1 million for $40 a month. All those. I know they're in their 20s. $40. Don't get in your car before you have accident protection. 480 a year, you can even pay the full year. But for a family of 3, we can work with 100 where you can have your children ride on your own policy, right? And that, depending again on your health. You know, they check whether you have pre-existing conditions. Price will not be the same for everybody. But this is what I say, especially for a term policy for a 20-year period. 150 or less, 100 or less, I can work with 60 and put your children to ride on your policy so that you all have something. Even if it's 300,000. Has anybody ever come to your house and given you $10,000 because you had a misfortune? Do something for you, right? And then we can also ease the burden of fundraising. The money we are fundraising, we can save for retirement. Because again, we are retiring with nothing. And that's a story I'll tell you another day. Yes? Yes. All the money we are fundraising, we can invest all that money and become millionaires. So that when somebody dies, we go with flowers and muffins. Right? Yes.
Amen. Thank you very much. All right. So you go to the hall, over there in the hall. Please, tupitie hapo, tupate hiyo information, tukue matajiri na tupunguze burden kwa watu wetu when the inevitable and unforeseeable happens, because we are required to plan. A good man plans, and a good man leaves something to their grandchildren. Amen. We'll see you there. And you'll be here, second service, mwisho ya second service. There'll be more time for Q&A, mwisho ya second service, kwa sababu hao wako na the rest of the afternoon. Amen. See you soon.
Inesi ya kugai, kekuza